So June 1st, 2024, I decide to do a tarot spread. And I have a goal that I have had is to do at least one per full and new moon, so roughly twice a month. So I do not remember what the cycle was around the first, June 1st, but I did know that after doing the group hike and meditation in the Presidio, I just felt that I wanted to do that. So I remember, again, in my journal, that I did that June 1st. And I remember looking at the spread and saying, oh, wow, that I haven't seen that specifically. I haven't seen that in about 10 years. 10 years prior was when I had broken up with my first long-term relationship, and I was notified in the exact same manner. So I'm just going to put that out there, okay? June 1st. Of course, you have wishful thinking. You're like, well, it's not. Of course, it can't be true, even though in my gut I knew. Mind you, no other indication otherwise. Nothing like it's not that we fought necessarily. Peter and I were, getting along fine. And so I mentioned in the last episode or a few episodes ago that when I saw him with his cousin was the last time we saw each other face to face, is what I came to realize, but for when we were trapped on the plane together. So that wasn't uncommon for our relationship. I would sometimes the other time, other than like when we had dates, the other time I'd catch him a lot face to face was like if I happened to walk down to the bar he used to hang out at a lot after work, which was down the street from my office, which was like not too far from his building as well, not give too much information. So I'd like make the effort to go down and see him, but again, sitting across somebody when they're drinking gets old quick. It's only good so many times. But I mention all this not only, again, just to be brutally honest, but to say that there wasn't any indication otherwise that we ever had any problems at this time, any more than normal, right? And I say that we had our arguments, but this wasn't a relationship where that's all we did was fight. We probably did a lot more than was. But I can't emphasize enough that I really think that there's nothing that we came across in our relationship was a deal breaker, and that communication was a huge problem. And I also think that only one of us was really committed to seeing those changes. The other one was like brutally honest. If things went according to his way and at his convenience, then he was along for the ride. Otherwise, lost interest quick is really what I've come to realize. So I remember around June 3rd or 4th, mind you, like I'm kind of like posting on my stories about, oh, happy Pride this, happy Pride that, and like I remember sharing a video. I'm not sure if I've said this before, but like one of those that Apple makes of you and your partner. And so this one, they kind of was like auto-generated by iOS, and so they like sent it to me. They called it Together, and I thought it was super cute, and I sent it to Peter. And so I remember posting it like on my story. And I remember the caption was like, from me and the love of my life, happy Pride. And I remember him seeing it and not saying anything, but I do remember thinking just to myself, just making a note of that. And then another thing that I remember, just in retrospect thinking, was something about sharing something that I had said to my mom, because I have a very close relationship with my mom, as I'm pretty sure he does as well and did, right? Like, definitely a gay thing. But mama's boy all the way. And then I remember saying something along the lines of, oh, can't wait until you and her are best friends as well. And then again, his no response. So these are only things that I'm making connections to afterwards, but these are all things that happened again in that 6 week, or in that this few days into June, because if I haven't said this already, the final FaceTime happened June 10th. So this was around June 3rd or 4th. And again, just connections and things that you notice looking backwards. But so I pulled that tarot spread. Pride is like happening, but it's not really. You know what I'm like, the tension's kind of, I do even remember texting Michelle, because I almost feel like she likes to celebrate Pride more than I do. And I even remember saying, like, who knows what'll happen? Who knows? Because Peter was never really big on it, which is why it was such a big deal for me the last year, even though it was just for show. So, and Peter's also not an activist, so he doesn't get really that part of it either, which again is fine. But I guess I'm just trying to kind of set the mood for kind of what was going on in those first few days of June, which brings us to, like I said, around June 3rd or 4th. Just things that you notice afterwards. And then I had a client who was leaving to go to the river. Now you have to realize, at this point, I don't just watch anybody's houses. You have to be referred to me, or you have to be somebody who I've worked for before. My schedule is such that I really am too busy, like, again, I'm willing to do it for folks that I've worked with before, or referred to, but it's really not it's not my main source of income anymore, right? I sold my pet care business. I have other things. I'll definitely talk about this a little later, but if you have not realized, I live a very active life, just by default of when I have had the time to record this series. As you've noticed, the ever-changing scenery and landscape here. So again, it's mostly at the end of the day, something like, if it even works with my really crazy hectic schedule that I currently have, right? So I had a client that was going to the river. I'm just going to put that out there, and I will talk about what the significance of the river is perhaps in the next episode, because it is significant. Because guess what? Somebody else ended up going to the river as well.